Think back to a time when you felt truly confident in your work as a coach or difference maker. A moment when you just felt aligned, like you were exactly where you're meant to be, doing exactly what you're meant to do. Now, I want you to think about the areas in your coaching business where you don't feel so confident. Maybe it's doing a Facebook Live on social media, having enrollment or sales conversations. Or maybe it's talking to brand new potential clients. So then the question for you is, what do you think not feeling confident in these areas is actually costing you? Now imagine, what would it be like if you had unshakable confidence in all areas of your coaching business? How many more people would you be able to help? And how much more of an impact would you be making in the world? How much more income would you be able to generate? My name is Jennifer Joy Jimenez. I'm the co-founder of the Brave Thinking Institute. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 tips coaches use to build unshakable self-confidence, so you can put yourself out there with greater confidence to influence even more people and create the coaching business of your dreams. Now, the first thing you'll want to know about confidence is that confidence can actually be created. Sometimes it's easy to fall into the trap thinking that some people are just born confident while others just aren't. But the truth is, confidence can be cultivated through experience. And that means that no matter how much you feel like you're lacking confidence right now, there is an opportunity to grow into the more confident, amazing version of you. And that brings me to our first confidence tip. Confidence isn't just a feeling. In fact, my confidence tip number 1 is that confidence is the willingness to take inspired action in the interest of growth, regardless of how you're feeling. So many coaches that I work with get stuck waiting to feel confident before taking action and stepping into their purpose. But every time you take a risk, every time you face your fears and take action outside of your comfort zone, regardless of the outcome, you experience growth. So if you want to create the confidence that is unshakable and consistent, you want to stop waiting for a feeling and instead practice cultivating confidence. And that starts with confident thoughts and confident actions. Only then will you be able to experience unshakable confidence. So ask yourself this: what would the most confident version of you think and do today? And that actually brings me to confidence tip number 2, to be willing to take action before you feel ready. You don't have to master everything in your life or business to be confident. That's because truly confident people actually seek progress, not perfection. And when we're willing to take action before we feel ready, we create a positive feedback loop. Neuroscientists call this the confidence-competence loop. So you can think of it like this. Do you remember the first time you drove a car? Go back. Now, if you don't know how to drive a car, maybe you could think of a time when you learned how to ride a bike or to navigate your computer for the first time. But regardless of what it is that you're learning for the first time, it was probably uncomfortable and a little scary, especially driving. Driving probably didn't feel natural, and you may have felt like you had to stop and think about each part of the process, like when to use the blinker or when to check the mirrors, maybe second guessing yourself and hitting the curb a few too many times when you learned how to park, right? Building confidence as a driver required repetition and action. The more times you did it, the more competent you became, and the more competent you became, the more confident you felt. And if you had stopped after the first time you drove, you would have stayed stuck at the level of incompetence, never gaining the confidence you have now. Creating confidence as a coach and in your business actually works the same way. It might seem like coaches just wake up, they feel confident, but many of them don't. Most of them don't. They create confidence by being willing to be uncomfortable and take action in the interest of growth. and do it again and again and again. And just like when you were learning how to drive a car, if you had waited to start driving until after you felt like a confident driver, you never would have learned it all. It was doing it afraid that built the confidence you have now. When we talk about taking action before we feel ready, it almost always leads to the topic of possibly failing, bringing us to confidence tip number 3. Don't rehearse or nurse your past failures. You see, what happens is, in the face of taking a risk, like trying something new that feels maybe really scary, our subconscious mind will often look for a story of a past failure similar to the action you're about to take in an effort to keep you in your comfort zone and protect you from getting hurt. This keeps us from taking the risks required to reach our true potential. When you notice that you're going down this path, you have a magical tool that you might not realize. This tip became really important to me and life-changing as I was first stepping into my higher calling as a transformational coach. I had committed to taking action before I felt ready, but I never actually in this work planned to get up on stages or even record videos like these ones as part of my career. And in the beginning, every time I would get up on stage to speak at a big event, there was this one particular failure memory that would just haunt me. It was a memory of a time I spoke at a women's event and I just completely flopped. I was supposed to deliver a talk and I tripped over my words. I lost my place. I left the stage just completely feeling defeated, like I had let myself and most importantly, the event coordinator down. Number 1 was to just simply notice what I was noticing. Number 2 was this powerful pause button, to press the pause button and breathe. And number 3, to replace the failure memory with a successful memory, a positive story of a time when I was on stage and succeeded and filled with emotions of success, joy, and happiness. And as I thought about it, I recalled a perfect story. It was a time when I was in middle school when I actually won my 7th grade talent show and completely crushed it. And therefore, every time I thought of this moment, I was just filled with pride and joy and gratitude, and it just made me feel amazing. So then now every time I was about to get up and speak, and when that old failure story would try to pop up in my mind, I would follow the 3-step process. I would notice it, I would pause, I would take a deep breath, and then I would remember my success story. And more importantly, I would bring in the feeling I had on that day in this new moment. I am building more and more confidence in my own ability to experience success as a speaker, period. And each time I do this, it gets easier and easier. And now it's literally like second nature. So this leads perfectly into our confidence tip number 4, which is to be willing to expand your self-image. The best way to grow your confidence is to recognize that deep within you, there is already a wildly confident version of you just waiting to be embodied. You might not realize it fully yet, but your next level of confidence is already within you, just waiting to be unleashed. So one way you can start to make this shift is through empowering affirmations, or in other words, what's called autosuggestion. By changing your thoughts about who you are, you can learn to embody your deeper truth. That's the truth with the capital T. Here at the Brave Thinking Institute, we teach the results formula, which is this. And if you want to grab a pen, this is a great time to do that right now. Your thoughts impact your feelings. Your feelings impact your actions, and your actions ultimately create your results, which means if you want to experience the new results of unshakable confidence, you want to first shift your thoughts, which will help shape and determine your feelings, actions, and the new results that you would love to experience. 2 of my favorite confidence creating affirmations are: each day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Each day, in every way I'm getting better and better. And the second one is, today I choose to be the confident person who has a growth mindset and takes inspired action in the direction of my dreams. Let me say that again. Today, I choose to be the confident person who has a growth mindset and takes inspired action in the direction of my dreams. So to shift your thoughts even more, you can use confidence tip number 5, which is to practice asking brave questions. The people who don't experience the results they desire often are just simply in a loop of asking basic, low-level, what we call common hour questions. Like these: why is it that everyone I talk to doesn't have the money for coaching? That's a common hour question. Why haven't I been able to crack the code on being a full-time coach? Common hour question. However, successful, confident coaches have learned to practice asking vision-driven, brave questions instead. So here are a few vision-driven questions to help you start cultivating even more confidence. So question number 1, if you had more confidence, what would you love to stop doing that you feel like you have to do now? Number 2, what would the most confident version of you do in this situation? And question number 3, if you had more confidence, what would you love to do that you aren't doing now? Use the answers to these questions to amplify your willingness to take inspired, consistent action today to realize your dreams as a coach. And I encourage you to decline to put it off, decline the voices that try to talk you out of it, and to just do it. Probably one of the most important messages I have for you in this entire video. However confident you wish you could be, that confidence already exists within you.